So I just wanted to do a quick overview of two small utility vices that were made in 1960s, 70s, and I'm thinking probably into 80s. So let's start with this. It's a Craftsman 3.5-inch jaw vise, and you can see it marked right here, 3.5. It's pretty much a copy of a Colombian vise. Colombian vise made vices for Craftsman for quite some time, but by the time this fella was made, Craftsman outsourced it to, let's take a look, I don't know if you can see it, to Japan. But the vise is pretty much a copy. I was able to compare it to some others made by Colombian, and there's really no noticeable difference. So just take a look at how it operates. You can see the handle. Let me actually grab something here. So let's just measure the handle real quick, and it's 6 inches. And then we're going to compare it to this fella. So then, the operation is pretty simple. I just want to show you the jaws, I guess. Take it out. Alright, come on. Alright. You can see the jaws. The serrations are pretty smooth. They're not very aggressive whatsoever. They're replaceable. This is the main screw, and it's held in place by a washer right there. Not much else to it, just folded iron. The pipe jaws are cast right into the movable jaw, as well as the fixed jaw. Here's your nut, kind of swivels a little bit in there, but once you operate it, you really don't notice it. The locking mechanism for the base is very conventional. It swivels 180 degrees, and it's just a friction right there. Very typical, where what you have is just a bolt, carriage bolt, I believe, that just fixes the base to the fixed jaw, or the fixed jaw to the base, I suppose. Now this thing weighs about, I want to say, about 18 pounds. So now let's take a look at this fella. Pretty much the same, and at first I thought they were made by Colombian as well, just a little bit earlier. But then, after looking at it, looking at the design and how it's made, I have a suspicion that it was really made by Ridge Tool Company at its own foundry. Have a strong suspicion, because design is a little bit different. Now, first of all, let's see, you can see, and you saw that before, that height-wise, they're a little bit different. Let's see if I can quickly reassemble this fellow. Yeah, there it goes. Sorry, fellas. Okay, there it goes. So size-wise, they're a little bit different. This one seems to be a little bit smaller, right? A little bit shorter, a little bit shorter this way too. Side-by-side comparison. Weighs a little bit less, just a little over 16 pounds, and I believe it was made around 1965. At least I was able to find a catalog from Ridge Tool Company from 1965 that had this exact vise that was advertised as utility vise 350R for home use. And the jaw is also 3.5 inches. Now, let me just open this guy up. And it has a couple interesting differences. Well, first, the handle, the other one was 6 inches. This one is just under 7. And you would think, what's the big deal, really, right? But believe it or not, it makes a pretty big difference when you work it. Because I guess the average hand, 6 inches, I don't know, just seems to be pretty short. They skimped on the length of it. Now, the inside of it is a little bit different. The main nut is a little bit thicker, and it's held in place by a washer. I bet you can't tell from here, but it's this kind of a lock-in washer. Kind of interesting. Haven't seen that in vices before. Pipe jaws are cast in place too. No difference there. The jaws themselves are a lot more aggressive, though, I have to say. They're also replaceable. Seem to be just a smudge thinner. Don't think it makes any difference. But they're definitely a lot more aggressive. Folded iron as well. What I've noticed here, though, is, and they advertised it in the catalog from 1965, is that, let's see if I can show it to you. Not only there is a washer here, there is also a washer here. So from both sides. Not quite sure if there's a washer on this fellow from this side. Can't really tell, but here you can see it. And I'm not sure if it's by design. Well, I'm pretty sure it's by design, but it's probably for lubrication, lubrication port of sorts, I would imagine. Just a guess here. Let's see what else. Again, they're pretty similar. Except the nut is cast in place. It's not movable. You can't remove it. So that's one major design difference right there. Haven't seen that much, to be honest with you. So that's quite interesting that it's fixed in place. That gives it a little bit more stability, actually, interestingly enough. And then the way the fixed jaw is affixed to or attached to the base is a little bit different. As you can see, the mechanism here is almost like a caliper. Let's see. Right. So as this square nut is loosened, the jaw starts to move. And what it allows you to do is move it 360 degrees. That's pretty cool. Remember, this guy could only move 180 degrees. This one moves all 360. That's kind of neat. And also, the way it fixes is it's a little different. This lever here, quite different from the conventional ones that you see. I like it. It's kind of neat. You can kind of tuck it out of the way. Yeah, it's just interesting. And again, oh, the other thing, of course, is, if you think about it, this guy, it's only attached, I mean, the base is really fixed at, what, one point, right? With this bolt, carriage bolt. Now this one, interestingly enough, once you tighten it, it's attached at 3 places. Here, here, and here. Makes it for a lot more stable and rigid base, and you're not going to be able to move this guy. Like, you can try, you're probably going to break it first before you move it. So that's kind of neat. So, let me just try to put it in. And it's pretty dirty and hasn't been lubricated in years. I just got it off Craigslist. So that's the difference between these two guys. The Craftsman, which is a copy of a Colombian, but made in Japan. And again, I'm guessing probably sometime in the 70s, early 80s. And the Ridge Tool Company, Elyria, Ohio, USA. Both 3.5-inch jaws, both, you know, meant for home workshop. And honestly, I've been using this guy for quite some time. I just took it off its mount because I'm thinking about maybe either finishing it or giving it away to a relative. So one of these guys will be passed on. So that's it.